everyone, it's Robin, RS Island Crafts, and welcome to my studio. This is my Whip It Wednesday video where I'm going to show you all my crafty goodness. While looking at what I've been working on, I see a lot of quilt blocks this week. Thank you so much for hanging out with me on the live stream where I still want to say pinwheels, but where we made our bow tie blocks. This one is from Friday's tutorial. I was noticing, look, I have a few blocks stacked up together and they're staying on this board really well. So that's kind of I don't know if I'd ever use it for anything, but I think it's kind of neat that it holds a lot of fabric. There's the 3D version. Nope, it didn't hold them for very long though, did it? Here is another 3D block and then a matching one to go with it. When I prepare for the live stream, I try to cut a couple of extra blocks just in case someone says, Robin, can you show that part again? Since I've already sewn it, I would need new blocks to sew it again. So I tried to make sure I had extra, especially for the 3D block. I thought that it might be a little bit more complicated, but everyone was really comfortable with it as far as I could tell. There goes the fan. So those are my 6.5 inch blocks. I worked on some 12.5 inch blocks too, but I am not going to trust this board. There is the blue and red bandana one. Even though it really doesn't look like a bow tie anymore, I like that little pop of red that's in there, and I think that would be really fun on a lot of if you had a lot of these for a scrappy quilt, to have a bunch of bow tie blocks with the different colors in there. Again, even if it doesn't look like a bow tie, it still would make a fun quilt. And here's the polka dot one. This is the one that I made when I was doing the tutorial. This definitely has to get turned into something. Now during the live stream, I worked on 3.5 inch bow tie blocks, and afterwards I went ahead and I cut up some more red, white, and blue fabric to make a 12.5 inch block. I love the way this one turned out. As you can see, I just alternated the red and blue. I kept them going, it's 4 across, 4 down, and I kept them all going in the same direction. And the reason I made this is so that it can go on the other side of the tote for the red, white, and blue pineapple. I did end up taking off of the corners because this was only a 10 inch block and I wanted it to be 12.5 inches. And it looks, to me, it looks so much nicer as a 12.5 inch block than it did as a 10 inch block. So I added another round of white and then the colors, and then put some more, I had to put those corners back on afterwards. So this will be one side of the tote, and then this will be the other side, and it'll be a nice little 4th of July tote. And I'm hoping I can find enough of this fabric to do something with it. Otherwise, I'll just border it out with something to work with the red, white, and blue. So it'll pretty much be red, white, or blue. So I need something to bring this up. It's a 12.5 inch block, so I need to bring it up to about 16.5 inches. And then I'll need something on the top so I don't lose it, because when you stitch it all together, I'm going to lose about a 1/2 inch off the top, which might or might not be a problem. Then I need something on the bottom, 2.5 inches on each side, so that when I create that 5 inch gusset, the bottom is going to get folded under, and I don't want to lose part of the pineapple to the bottom of the tote. That just kind of ruins everything. And the same thing here, if I end up losing part of the bow ties, it'll end up with this weird little dot, 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 dash, dash thing down below, and I'm not doing Morse code yet. I have seen some really fun quilts that have Morse code on it, but that's not going to be this. I worked on a couple other things. I did a little separate video for those. I'll pop in right here. I made a couple fabric postcards going out to a couple special people in June. These scraps are not mine. The gray fabric, I don't even know if that's mine. That could have been sent to me also, or it could have been something I have, I'm not sure. But I know these scraps were sent to me from one of you amazing people. They were already sewn together. Some of them I trimmed in half. Some of them were already wide and not too wide. I believe this one is the one that started it all. It was 1 inch wide, so I went ahead and trimmed everyone else. I kept this one a little wide just because I loved the fabrics. Unfortunately, this one shifted a little bit as I was doing all the top fancy stitching on it, But as a fabric postcard, I'm going to have to let it go. If I were making this into maybe a pouch or something, I would probably take a whole bunch of straight line stitching in a light gray and just do some matchstick quilting on that just to hold all those wrinkles down. But I think as a fabric postcard, it'll be okay. I wouldn't be worried about it if it was sent to me, so that's one of the things that I try to look at. So I'm going to say it's okay, it's just scraps, it's a fabric postcard, we're gonna let it go. I'm really enjoying just randomly making some fabric postcards every few days, every few weeks, a couple times a month, just to send them out to my different patrons and such as part of their reward program that I have going on for them. Those are the fancy stitches, I call them feather stitches, that I like to put around the postcards. I use that and that same, this is a nice, brilliant royal blue thread from Missouri Star. I've been busy working on my Birdie blocks. I finished the May block. I love the way it turned out. So I stuck with the simple plan that was laid out in the actual pattern, and I just went with the basic back stitch. But I did go ahead and add some French knots to the center of my purple flower. I like how bright and colorful and springy everything is. I wasn't sure what to put down here, so I just went with a line of grass just to finish it off. I imagine you don't even need to have that line, but it was already drawn on my fabric, so I went ahead and stitched it. I started my June block. For this one, I am going super simple. Everything is just going to be like one color. Not one color for the whole thing, obviously, but for each word, I could have chosen to do a different color for each letter, like create would have been good to have them all like maybe a rainbow color, somewhere along those lines, but I just thought like joy is very bright and happy, so that needed to be yellow. Love, of course, has to be red. I have some pinky hearts. Blue for hope seemed really appropriate. Everything that's going to be green, all of the little doodads in between the flowers, and then up here all of the stems on the flowers, I'm going to make them all the same exact green, because sometimes I want everything to have a background balance, like that's going to draw it all together and make it very cohesive. It all depends like on the mood I'm in when I'm sitting down to stitch. I don't plan too many things ahead of time, but when I sit down to stitch, I'm like, oh, what color is in my little baggie? Oh, what sounds like a good color? And then I'll put it on there. Either way, it's going to be something that is a little bit bright, and it's not going to be winter or autumn type colors. I'll do those later in the year when I get to the October ones and stuff like October, November, December, and I'll worry about those then. But when I'm in the summertime, you gotta have nice, bright, fun colors. I have some fun and exciting projects coming up. I have a custom order that I'm going to be working on this week. I have the tutorials that are going to be coming up. I've been doing a little bit of yard work, mowing the yard. That's really about it. That kind of filled up my entire week. I hope you guys have been having a very crafty and creative week. Is anyone working on anything exciting? I know not everyone who's working on these blocks or the Birdie blocks with us is actually commenting, but I am kind of curious. Is there anyone still working on their Birdie blocks? Are you guys caught up? Are you working on your June one? I know I didn't start in January, so mine's going to run the year, it's not going to be a calendar year. I think I need to do January, February, March. I think I started in Easter. I don't remember. But I know I've only done a few blocks and I still have many more to go. I've been trying to spend a little time each night working on those just to get them going and keep the momentum going and get them finished so that I can work on actually putting the borders on and finishing them into little minis that I can hang up on the wall. So your scrappy word for today is puzzle, because why not? That's a totally random thing that you didn't expect me to talk about today. I love doing jigsaw puzzles. I did a lot of them when I was pregnant with Robbie. We were doing them like every day, every 2 days. We just get one of those little 550 puzzles. It's one of those things where it's nice and relaxing to do a small one and every now and then to do a big complicated one. I really need to get a table, a nice good sized table like this one here, to put into the other room so that I can have a jigsaw puzzle laid out. Right now when I'm working on one, I have the foam core boards from the Dollar Tree that I lay it all out, and then when I'm done I pick it up and put it up on a shelf, and then when I have time to work on it I bring it back down. We've tried those blow up mats where you blow up a cylinder and then you roll it up on a piece of plasticky felt thing. That never worked. Have you seen those tables where they like open up, or they have drawers that come out and you can store all the pieces in there, and then it closes the cover down, and then your puzzle is completely safe from little children and kitty cats that love to steal your puzzle pieces? So come back next week and see what my custom order is going to look like, and a few other things that I've been working on this week. Just trying to clear out a few things and get a couple things out of the way. Even if they only end up looking like this and then I still have to turn them into something, at least it won't be a bunch of little pieces. It'll be sewn together into some type of a project. So thanks for hanging out with me. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.